you two obviously are all about giving, and I can't thank you enough for what you're doing. I want to talk a little bit about maybe what has really motivated you to want to give back. You've got this Shadow Warriors project that you and Krystal have created. This is a foundation dedicated to support private military security contractors. These are paramilitary security operations that take place in some of the world's most dangerous places. I mean, they're just, as I said in the introduction, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow with the military. They're in there taking the same risks, doing the same work, and exposed to the same stress, trauma, and all that the military is. But when they come home, they don't have the benefits that the veterans do. And I'm very glad that the veterans do. That's a great thing. I certainly support that. But I think it's terrible that these people that are working right along beside them don't have that support. You were at Benghazi and involved in that battle. Talk about your experiences there and what impact that had on you and how that led to feeling the need to help others that had been in a situation like yours.
I've been contracting for about 9 years when September 11th, 2012 came about. And, I knew guys that had gotten hurt or injured, but never really understood the backside of what happens when you do until I was injured myself. I got blown up 3 times, had about 26 holes in me. My left arm was about severed off, and lost 2 of my friends right next to me. And through that, we only got paid when my feet were in the country I was contracted to work in. And so on September 12th, that evening, I flew out of Libya on a medical transport plane, got into Germany, and that was the last day I got paid. I was in the hospital for, I think, 6 to 8 weeks, another year and a half, 2 years of physical therapy. And what I had was a workman's comp claim, and that was it. And, it really opened our eyes to what those paramilitary contractors that work for the government go through and what they have to deal with. And we just didn't want that to happen to anybody else. We almost lost our house. Wasn't able to really have much of a Christmas except for the blessings and grace of a few people that we worked with that had given us stuff for our kids. We wanted to never let that happen to anyone else, and that's what really drove us to starting Shadow Warriors Project.
Krystal, you've seen this happen, and not just to your husband, but to others. And this is something that really motivated you. This is a passion. This isn't just a project. This is a passion.
Absolutely. When Mark come home and he was still battered and bruised, and after I don't know what surgery, he said, I want to start a foundation so people don't have to go through this anymore. And I said, what? I don't know the first thing about it, but let's do it. Let's help and do what we can. And so I ask God every day how we can be a blessing. And we answer the phone call not knowing what to expect. And you know what? We're here to walk through the fire. The same fire that we went through. Hopefully we can help navigate the red tape that we had to navigate and ease some of the burdens and bring hope where hope may be lost. And, we help medically, maybe treatment for surgery, maybe therapy for PTSD. We help financially for others who are facing losses for their home. And like Mark said, there was a Christmas where we couldn't afford to buy Christmas presents. And thankfully, somebody from the office sent our family gifts. And so that's near and dear to my heart as well. Is so every year we pick a family that we can provide Christmas for.
That's great. And I want people that don't know the story to understand this, because in America, we need to take care of those people that stand up for this country and fight for this country. And the truth is that, Mark, you were credited with saving 25 Americans during the Benghazi attack, and you're still paying the price for that. You're still recovering from injuries that you sustained during that battle. And I don't want to traumatize you further by going into too much detail about that, but I do want people to understand the injustice that's been done here. By the last day you got paid was the day you landed in Germany. Talk about what you're comfortable talking about that took place in Benghazi during that battle, and what you had to do to help save 25 Americans that you just got left twisting in the wind after the fact.
So I was a private military contractor for the CIA, and there were 6 of us on our team. We had a sister team up in Tripoli, which was about a 3-4 hour plane ride away. That night, I was out in town with a female case officer, providing security for her. We were meeting with some people that we had to meet with and get some information from. And I got a call from Tyrone Woods. He was our team leader, and he said, "Hey, you need to get back to the annex and stay away from the consulate." And kind of put it in perspective for the listeners and viewers, is the annex was about a mile away from the consulate where the U.S. ambassador was, along with his security detail. And at our facility, we had about 23 people that were all part of the CIA annex. Everything from case officer positions down to a cook, and we provided our own medics, but we had electricians and stuff like that, because we got to be a self-contained little village, basically. And when I got back to the annex, I had taken over security there. The rest of the team had went over to the consulate because they had been overran by over 40 armed individuals. The rest of the team had went over there, was able to push through, retake that compound, and start searching for the ambassador and Sean Smith, because they were unaccounted for. Found Sean Smith. They pulled his body out. He was already deceased from smoke inhalation, but couldn't find the ambassador. And Tig and Tyrone went in and out of that building, and it was just completely full of smoke. And they would explain it. They couldn't even see the front of their rifle as they're going in and out, as how bad it was. And for about, probably 15, 20 times. And while they were there, they got counterattacked by an unknown exact number. Quite a few people, though, RPGs, AK-47s, belt-fed machine guns, and they were able to repel that attack. And at that time, they had to decide if they were going to stay there and search more for the ambassador, or go ahead and fall back to the annex, because the consulate was really a undefendable position for the amount of people we had. It was almost 8 acres versus the annex, which was about the size of a football field. So they fell back to the annex. The security team for the ambassador had made their way back through an ambush, getting back to the annex, and we started up the fight from there, or at least got ready for the fight that we expected would come our way.